When we hit 20,000 subscribers, we'll give away a free NFL jersey of your choice. So subscribe now. 4 years ago, the Packers played the Giants. The Giants came into Lambeau, and they beat them to go to the Super Bowl. What are some of the reactions to not only that game and some of the players holding on to that, but Jason Pierre-Paul guaranteeing a victory this weekend?
Well, I talked to a couple of the guys yesterday in the locker room that played in that game in 2007 in the NFC Championship game. Kind of mixed reactions. Greg Jennings said, yeah, we remember that. That was our Super Bowl. We want to get some revenge. Then I talked to Ryan Pickett, defensive lineman. He said, I really don't remember anything about that game except that it was cold. So, I mean, for the guys, and there's about a dozen of them that played in that game, it's kind of mixed over whether they're still thinking about that. As for Jason Pierre-Paul, you know, we asked Mike McCarthy about that, and he said, listen, our team expects to win too. I expect to win. He just said it. He said the Packers are a little more buttoned up. You're not going to see anybody come out and outright say, we guarantee a win. But I don't think that's the kind of thing. It's the playoffs. I don't think these guys lack motivation in any way.
The Green Bay defense, a lot of people may be aware, a lot of people may not be aware. This is not the best defense. They have big names, but statistically, they have given up some of the biggest yards that the NFL has seen. 111 rushing yards a game, 300 passing yards a game they surrender. That's last in the NFL. And total yards a game, 411, also last in the NFL. Why have they been so bad on the defensive end, Justin?
Yeah, it's a mystery to everybody because you're right. You got Clay Matthews, you got an All-Pro in Charles Woodson, Pro Bowlers, B.J. Raji, guys like that. And you wonder, and a lot of the guys will point to, a lot of those yards have been in kind of garbage time when they've been up a lot, or they've been up several scores and teams just got to rip back and pass on them, and they let some yards pile up and maybe some late points. But they've let teams hang around. They've let teams like the Giants hang around a couple weeks ago. It's a mystery as to why. I think it's attributed really to the pass rush. They haven't been getting the quarterback like they did last year. The reason maybe without Cullen Jenkins, who left for the Eagles, I'm not exactly sure. But they haven't been getting the passer. But the one stat that they'll point to, and the one stat that's really taken them from being a terrible, historically bad defense, because the yards allowed, I believe, was an NFL record, is turnovers. Leading the NFL in interceptions. Team record, 31 turnovers for the season. So they've given up a lot of points and yards, but they've also turned the ball over a lot. Something they're certainly going to need in the playoff run, but something they've been able to kind of use to balance out all those yards.
Well, they're facing a very good, a very hot offense with a legitimate quarterback in Eli Manning. You could even say that he's past Peyton Manning, many would argue. He has the weapons. I mean, he has Hakeem Nicks. He has Victor Cruz. He has Mario Manningham. I mean, Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs can also catch the ball out of the backfield. How exactly, for, again, giving up the NFL's worst passing yards per game, they face a lot of weapons here. How do you see them matching up, and how do you see them possibly shutting down those three receivers?
I think it's a matter of getting the quarterback. I think if you let Eli Manning sit back there, have time, have a clean pocket, he's going to pick apart any secondary in the league. I mean, you got Tramon Williams, you got a healthy Charles Woodson, and don't forget, he hasn't played meaningful snaps in 3 weeks. And Charles Woodson is not a rookie anymore. He gets dinged up throughout the year. So having 3 weeks off might be more help than anyone realizes to a guy like that. But it's really, you got to get pressure on Eli. Even if you're not hitting him, you got to get the ball out earlier and give the defensive back some kind of chance. Because if they're running around for 4 or 5 seconds chasing around those receivers, it'll be a long day. No one can keep up with that. Right. So I think it's really stopping the pass is really about getting pressure on Eli.
Just a few more questions for you, Justin. How do you see, obviously Charles Woodson, he loves the blitz, and they love calling him on blitzes. However, let's say hypothetically, and which will happen for a majority of the game, he lines up against who?
Well, it's really, they use him kind of as the Swiss Army knife. Like you said, he comes on blitzes a lot. They have, during games where they've gone against an elite receiver, Steve Smith comes to mind in Carolina. They've matched up Charles Woodson on him and had him follow him all around the field. So I think you're going to see Charles Woodson do a variety of things. I think he's a guy who you might see on Victor Cruz a lot. I think Hakeem Nicks will get the Tramon Williams treatment where the two of them will spend a lot of quality time together. That's just my guess. Tramon was matched up on Calvin Johnson just about the whole game when they played the Lions both times. So I think you're going to see Charles Woodson drop into coverage. I think you're going to see him on kind of run blitzes designed to stop the run. I think you'll see him going after the quarterback and giving him 3 weeks off. I wonder if you're going to see a rejuvenated Charles Woodson, who, again, I believe 7 interceptions this year, has been having a pretty good year, all pro, injuries or not.
Obviously, the tragic news with Joe Philbin's son, Michael Philbin. From an outsider's perspective and reading Green Bay newspapers, seeing Mike McCarthy getting choked up in press conferences, it seems like it has hit this team very, very hard. From an insider's perspective, how hard has it actually hit this team?
It's been really tough. I mean, any football team is going to be very close, treat each other like family. This team is no exception. And Coach Philbin, very well liked, extremely well respected, a really nice guy from the very few times that I've, been able to talk to him without a microphone in my hand. And it's hit this team very hard. Talking to the guys yesterday. Yesterday was the first time that we've been able to be in the locker room talking to players since the tragedy. People are really hit hard by it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers said, his words were, I don't have the words for Coach Philbin right now. I've never been to a funeral, is what Aaron Rodgers said. And also, offensive lineman T.J. Lang lost his father last week. The funeral was on Monday, so the players dealing with that as well. It's it's a tragedy, and it's how the team responds. And you hate to look at the football impact of something like that after such a great tragedy. But Mike McCarthy was asked yesterday, is this the kind of thing your team can rally around? And his answer essentially was, I hope so. And you heard a lot of guys yesterday saying, you know what, whether or not Coach Philbin's in the booth, and we don't know if he's going to be in the booth quite yet. The Packers are not saying yet. Whether or not he's in the booth, we got to play hard because that's what Coach would want, and that's the best way to honor his son's memory.
Last question for you, Justin. All bias aside, we ask you, do you see the Packers winning this game by a large margin, or do you see them just getting by the Giants, or even do you see them losing at home once again?
I've thought about it a lot, and there seems to be a lot of hand-wringing. You read online and you hear on talk radio in Green Bay, people just very worried about the Giants. I think ultimately the Packers are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a touchdown kind of game. I think the line right now is something like 8 points for entertainment purposes only, of course. I think it's kind of the 35-28, something in that range. I think the Packers offense can score. It's not going to be terrible weather outside, and I think the defense, maybe they can't shut down the Giants, but I think they make enough big plays. They've been known to tighten up inside the red zone to limit the Giants' amount of points. I think the Packers are able to win. They get the home crowd behind them, make some noise on defense, and I think they'll move on to the NFC Championship game.